Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and through you to the members. Before I begin my remarks, I'd like to congratulate our friends from Andover and Dartmouth who just gave their maiden speeches. Did a wonderful job. Welcome to the House, and thank you for your kind words. And before I begin my remarks, I want to thank a couple of individuals. Most importantly, you, Mr. Speaker. I know this is a very difficult bill for some, and I know this was a very difficult issue for many, not only in the House, in the Senate, but for citizens across the Commonwealth. The beginning of this session, you made a pledge that we would take up a habitual offender bill. I met with you privately. I know families of those who have lost loved ones met with you. You showed great compassion, and you kept your pledge. And for that, I'm very grateful. Thank you. To our good friend from Chelsea, who has had to listen to me for the last many, many years about this bill. As someone who is not an attorney and someone who doesn't understand every law on the books of the Commonwealth, sometimes you need to take a step back and you need to be educated on a bill that you put forward. You have to be willing to listen to those who don't necessarily agree with what you believe in. The gentleman from Chelsea took the time to sit down with me on many occasions the last few months to share his views and his concerns with me about my original bill. One that was much more far-reaching than what we're voting on today. He told me of his experiences through his profession of why my bill wasn't necessarily the best bill. He sat me down, he educated me on issues that I had no clue about, and he really opened my eyes. I understood his concerns because of those conversations and because of the dialogue that we had. He, too, made a pledge to me at the beginning of this session that we would put a bill on the floor of the House for debate and that he would work with me to ensure that what we put on the floor would be a great public safety bill for all of us to debate and vote on, but would be a great public safety bill for the citizens of this Commonwealth. Mr. Chairman, you did just that. You kept your pledge, and you clearly opened my eyes on a whole range of views that I didn't recognize at the beginning of this very long process. Thank you for all that you have done on behalf of this bill, and thank you for keeping the pledge that you made many months ago. Thank you. We often don't give public credit to those who help us each and every day up here on Beacon Hill. I have had the pleasure of having one of the best aides I've ever had. Jessica, thank you for all your help that you've given this bill as well. I know it's been a learning experience for you as well as me, and I thank you. What brought me to this podium tonight? My former aide, Jody, had a working relationship with a gentleman by the name of Les Gossel. He had shared his story of his daughter with Jody, and through her, he asked to come and talk to me many, many years ago. And when I met Les, he told me the story of Melissa, his daughter. Then a 27-year-old teacher who on July 11, 1999, was driving on Cape Cod when her car broke down, and she then accepted a ride from a stranger who offered to help. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to Melissa, the man who offered to help her, Michael Gentile, was a repeat criminal offender who had been able to escape just punishment for all the previous crimes he had committed. In fact, that man who murdered Melissa had served a total of 2 years in prison for a combined 27 convictions. It was the last time that Melissa was ever seen alive. She was found 8 days later in a shallow grave, raped and stabbed to death. As somebody who was meeting someone for the first time and heard that story, I'm not going to tell you that I didn't get teary-eyed, because I did. Because when you hear a story like that, for those of us who have children, that is who you picture, your own children. I can't imagine Les and Sandra and Sister Heidi what you went through during that time. I can't imagine. You turned that tragedy into advocacy because you felt so strongly that our laws needed to change and that no family should ever have to endure what you did. For the last 10 years, the Gossel family has come up here, met with many of you, have met with previous governors, previous speakers. They would not stop their advocacy on behalf of Melissa until a bill was passed. Les, Sandra, Heidi, congratulations for all your hard work. Thank you for bringing us together, and thank you for putting forward a proposal that will save many, many lives here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. I would be remiss if I also didn't thank the minority leader of the House and the minority leader of the Senate for all your hard work and advocacy and help in educating me on this issue. Thank you for all your hard work as well. And lastly, I want to thank Chuck McGuire, who joined this fight many months ago, who, like the Gossel family, has continued to advocate each and every day on behalf of a piece of legislation that he hopes will also help protect the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Chuck, our heart goes out to you, and we thank you for your advocacy as well. My fellow colleagues, the bill before us will protect the citizens of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This bill is a bill that I believe we can be very proud of because of the work that went into it, because of the compromises that went into this bill, and what I believe is a great consensus on this piece of legislation. This bill, it's certainly aimed at dangerous repeat offenders. As a gentleman from Chelsea has said earlier, we are going after what I believe are the most heinous criminals of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The bill mandates that after a defendant is convicted of a felony in 3 separate incidences, that the offender will be punished by a maximum sentence as specified by law. The goal of this bill is truth in sentencing. It includes federal convictions in the habitual offender statute, and upon conviction of a 3rd felony, an offender is considered a habitual offender and must serve the maximum sentence for the 3rd crime they have committed. Ladies and gentlemen, this bill has gone through a very long process, down a very long road, but I believe a bill that we can be very, very proud of. Mr. Speaker, I hope that this bill is passed to be engrossed, and again, I want to thank you for everything. May God bless you, and may God bless the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.